Hello, my YouTube friends. So recently I had a poll on my community section on YouTube where I asked my viewers if you guys wanted to see more of my professional business videos related to my art business, if you guys wanted to see more time-lapse videos of my professional paintings that I sell to my clients, or if you guys wanted to see quick tutorials for beginners, or if you wanted to see real-time beginner tutorials. And the real-time beginner tutorials was actually the #1 voted thing by 60%. You guys, 60% of you wanted to see more real-time acrylic painting tutorials. So that is what I'm giving you today. This is my blank canvas. It's just 12 inches by 16 inches. We have a full set of acrylic paints here. White, sap green, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, that's some type of pale green, raw umber, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium yellow light, orange, purple, cadmium red, crimson red, pink. That's like a yellow ochre mixed with burnt sienna. I'm not sure what the name of that one was. This one's a burnt umber, and then we have a little bit of black too. All right, let's check the chat real quick. Hello from Bavaria. Hi, thanks for joining me. Nice, Carly. Okay, so yeah, that's what we got going on. And hi guys, while we wait for a few more people to show up, I'm gonna talk about a couple things that I'm excited that I'm working on too right now. So this is a painting of vernal fall in Yosemite, and this is gonna be a video coming up within the next month. I'm trying to finish this painting tomorrow, but it is very, very far from done, so that might not happen. And then another one, I don't know if anybody remembers this painting, but I started this one over about 2 years ago, actually. This is a big one. This is 4 feet by 5 feet, I think. That's a very big painting of Zion National Park. And that one, I'm gonna try to get done in the next month, but we'll see what happens there. All right, so yeah, just excited about those two things, but we will get back to painting now because that's what you guys want to see. So let me get this set up. All right, so we got our acrylic paints there. I'm just gonna move my microphone, and we got our easel all set up, ready to go. So we're gonna do the sunset scene with Appalachian mountains, like ridges kind of coming in the foreground here. All right, I also have a cup of water to clean off my brushes. I have a good set of brushes here. We have just a couple angled brushes, like medium angled brushes, a couple of smaller round-tipped brushes, and then I have like a flat-tipped small brush. So a good little mix of brushes here. This is a small canvas, so I don't want to be working with giant brushes, but I am going to start with my largest brush. So to get started, we are going to we're just going to make like a little horizon line. I'm going to dip my brush in the paint a bit, or in the water a little bit, mix a little bit of red with a little bit of blue and purple, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a line here. Just give a little bit of a ridge line there so we can see where that goes. Then I'm going to put a little ridge here. Right now I'm just kind of eyeballing where my mountains are going to be. We also have some fog in here too, so that's a nice addition. And one of the nice things about landscapes is if you're making these mountains and they don't look exactly like mine, like if you make this mountain a little bit bigger, then chances are it's still going to look like it's a real landscape, even if it's not exactly like mine. When you're painting portraits, it's a little bit trickier because if one feature is off a little bit, then the whole painting is ruined. It doesn't look like the person anymore. All right, so we got our little ridge lines here, and another little one here, another little one right there. Okay. Good. All right. So now we got our ridges sketched out. We're going to have the sun setting like right here, but I'm not going to put any paint there yet because that's going to be white, and I don't want any of the other colors to bleed under it or through it. All right, let me check the chat real quick. Oh, nice. Got a couple people here. Love Surf Bunny. Hello. Hi, friend. Nice. Thank you. Acrylic Pour. Hi. How's it going? From the Netherlands. Very nice. Oh, thank you. Love Surf Bunny said she loves acrylic painting. Very good. Alrighty. Back to the painting. Oh, Ian's here too. Hi. Alrighty. Back to painting. So we have my angled brush. I'm just going to clean that off real quick because I was using some cooler colors. Now I'm going to switch to some warmer colors. And we're going to start with our sunset sky. So I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow, mix with a lot of white, and just to like put a mark where the sun is going to go, I'm just going to do that right there. Just so I know where the sun is so I don't paint over that spot next. Okay, and now we can start working with our fun colors. Let me check one thing real quick here. I'm just gonna move this back so you can see the palette a little better. Okay, cool. All right, so I got this like really bright orange. I'm gonna mix in a hint of yellow, and let's do some pink too. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's add some white. Very nice, nice bright color. And I'm just gonna hold the brush so that it's angled so that all of the paint is getting onto the canvas. If you hold the brush like this, you're getting a tiny line. If you hold it like this, you get a lot of paint on the canvas. And I'm kind of going over the mountain line that I made because I don't want to leave any white space there. I just want to get that all covered up. I'm going to do this color on both sides. And I'm not going right up to the sun, I'm getting kind of close, but I'm leaving a little bit of space there because I'm going to do some blending here soon. And then we're going to mix more pink into that color and a little bit of purple. Yeah, that's nice. And then we're just going to blend that on the outer sides because the farther away from the sunset you get, the cooler things are looking. Same, just nice back and forth brush stroke so that we get a nice smooth blend into our color that we already have there. And you can just keep going back and forth until you get that nice smooth transition. And we can keep adding more purple and just kind of working our way in here. All right, very nice. Now I'm going to clean off my brush in the water. And I'm going to take some white and I'm going to kind of blend in a little bit more orange and work in that spot that I was already mixing that first color. We're going to mix some yellow into there too. Just keep making it warmer and warmer. And we'll put a little bit down there. Now I'm just kind of making a circle around the sun. Still not touching it and letting those colors blend. All right, now I'm not gonna clean my brush off in the water this time. I'm just gonna take some yellow, some white, and blend that in again. And just keep working our way closer and closer to the sun here. Adding a little bit of warmer colors. Get the excess paint off your brush before you work on blending. And I'm holding the brush very, very gently here. If you hold the brush really hard, it's gonna just drag all that paint over or under. It's not gonna blend very nicely. So you wanna hold your brush very, very lightly to get this nice soft blend. All right, again, getting the excess paint off my brush, and now I'm just going to use straight up cadmium yellow medium. Looking nice and bright. There. And right now I'm like all the way up against the sun that I originally put in here, and I'm just going to let that blend. And I'm going to end up like going over that spot. It's not going to be a perfect blend just yet, but I'm going to put another layer of paint over it, and that's when it's going to really look like a real sunset. So again, I'm working on, if you want to get an even better blend, you could switch to a round tip brush. Those are better at getting that nice soft blend. The angled brushes are better for hard lines, I guess. Unless you're really used to working with them. All right, there we go. And then we're going to have a little bit of light kind of poking out of the sun here too. So we're going to have just kind of carrying this out. Going over what I just painted. And I'm going to make this a little bit lighter down here too. Still try to keep that nice blend. You don't really want to see a hard transition at all here. Everything is very soft. I'm going to take this brush again, my round tipped brush, and just let that blend out. And this is definitely one of the nice things about working with acrylic paint, is that if you make a mistake, it doesn't take a couple days to fix, because the paint usually dries within an hour or two, and then you can just fix your mistake. But if you make a mistake with oil paint, you might have to wait until it dries, or you have to really pile on a thick layer of paint over it to fix it, and then sometimes that gives you unwanted texture that you didn't really want to have in your piece. Again, I'm just making sure that I get like a really nice smooth blend here. Don't want any big streaks. All right. Maybe a little more down here. I think I'm gonna take just some red and some white. And let's make a little bit of cadmium yellow too. Maybe we'll warm this up a little bit down here. You can get as detailed or as simple as you'd like when you're remaking this painting. It doesn't have to look just like this. I like to work in a realistic style, but some people prefer more of an abstract style or more of a like a impressionistic style with really bold colors. Whoop. Cool, okay. Just gonna take some of my cadmium yellow light and my cadmium yellow medium and go around the sun again here. Blend that out some more. And then we can just take some white paint. You're supposed to wait until this is dry, but I kind of am getting anxious here, so I'm just gonna work on it now. And you just take that white, no other colors, and you just let it make a circle and kind of let it blend out a little more into the other colors. Let's clean off this brush. Make sure you get all the excess water off your brush. And you want to have a nice smooth transition again from that white kind of fading out into the yellow. Really soft, just like that. Okay, good. Next, we're going to take our cadmium yellow, and we got lots of that up here. And now this paint below it did dry, so we're going to have to do a little bit of color mixing so that we can make a new color to blend between these two colors. So I'm just going to take a little bit of orange, take that cadmium yellow medium again, and some white. And just kind of let those colors blend by going right over the point where the two colors meet. I'm going to add some more orange here. And then just kind of letting them blend right in. Gets a little tricky right around the sun because you want to keep that nice smooth color transition. Take some red and some pink. Right, more pink. And we'll just go back over here. These blend back up. I'm gonna check the chat in just a minute here. Sorry guys. I'm getting into paint mode. So I just really darkened that purple there, and that's fine. Still looks real to me. I can always lighten it up by just adding some pink and white and going over it like that. But yeah, we still got that really nice transition of color. Alrighty, I'm gonna clean off my brush again, and we're gonna keep working our way up in the sky. Gonna add more cadmium yellow medium, some white, and I think I'm gonna use a little crimson red here. Okay, that was too much crimson red. Just keep working in that same little paint spot, but adding more yellow and white. Yeah, that's better. And then while that yellow is still wet, I'm going to blend down into the yellow. And I'm almost going to cover up this yellow. I'm really just cooling the yellow down a little bit because I don't want this yellow to be as bright as the ring around the sun. I want it to be a little bit less vibrant because the sunset is our focus here, not the sky above it. Just doing the same brush strokes, using that same angled brush. Working my way up. And we're going to add some more of our cadmium yellow light and white here. Maybe a little more white. This is a really warm sunset sky. Usually I paint sunsets that end up transitioning into like a greenish blue at the top, but this one, this reference picture, is just warm sky all the way up. And we are gonna add some depth to the sky with some clouds. Just not yet. First we do the background and then we'll add the clouds because those are over top of the background. And now I'm gonna go over this with my yellow again and try to boost that saturation just a bit. That looks good. Maybe I'll take some orange without going too crazy here. And just add a little bit there too. Okay, cool. All right, now I'm gonna check the chat and then we'll come back and we'll start to work on the mountains. And then, oh, that's looking pretty good on here. Okay, let's see what the chat is saying. Oh, nice. Okay, good. Some more people showed up. Hello. Oh, okay. Love Surf Bunny has to go to the doctor for pain. Oh, no. I hope that you're okay. Nice. Food art channel. Very nice. Thank you. Marie's blog. Hello. One Mighty R. Hey, thank you. Starting to take shape. Yep. Nice. All right. Very good. Is everybody having a great day so far? It's like 3:23 p.m. my time right now, so I'm just hanging out in the afternoon. I'm going to go see a movie later tonight. So today I did my stream a little bit early. I usually try to post at 5 p.m. But since I'm going out tonight, I just did a earlier stream. I'm actually going to brighten this up with some orange here. Real quick. A little bit of orange here too. All right. Good. Now we can work on the mountains. So the mountains are purple that transition into a blue that transition into like a green up front. So the farther away mountains are, the more you lose your yellows and greens, and the more you see like violets and like cool blues. So that's why mountains really far away tend to look blue or purple, and mountains like right up in front of you are usually the color of the trees, the green that you usually see when a tree is right in front of you. All right, so we are going to take some of our, whoops, that's the wrong red. I'm going to take some crimson red and some pink, and let's try the ultramarine blue. That's a good color. I just need to lighten it up with some white. And that was too much white, so what we do there is we just take some more of our colors that we start out with, a little bit more pink, and just kind of make a little side paint spot there on the palette. All right, looking good. And now, you know what? I'm gonna leave the color there, and I'm gonna make a color that's even closer to the sky color, because I'm seeing little hints of mountain in the very far distance that I didn't see when I first saw this picture. So let me get that color real quick. I'm mixing orange and reds, and I didn't take any of the paint off my brush, so it's kind of blending in with that purple I already had. And now I'm just gonna do like a couple little, oh, that's still too cool. I wanna warm it up some more. Orange and red, just keep adding orange and red to make it warmer, and then you can add some white if you want it to look a little more faded. That's better. Get a little bit more orange and white. There we go. All right, so we had a couple little guys in the distance here. Can barely even tell where they are. You can just barely see them. There we go. Now we can use the purple. And I'm using my angled brush to get a nice crisp line where the mountains go there. All right. And then our mountains are misty and foggy underneath, so I'm just gonna mix white with some red and the color that was already on the brush, and just kind of let that work up. Starting at where the other mountain peak would be, and then moving up to the mountain that we have just painted. And this is like kind of play with it a little bit until it looks the way you want it to look. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna keep moving forward. We have a mountain here that's even a little bit more in focus, a little bit darker, more saturated, just a little bit, and then I'm gonna add a hint more blue to this. I think that was a little too much blue. Okay. Got our nice dark ridge there. I'm going to blend in some white and a little bit of red. And that'll give me good base color where this mountain starts to hit the clouds or the fog. Just kind of let this bottom piece disappear here. I think I gotta make this peak a little bit better there. There we go. Nice, all right. I'm gonna clean off my brush. And then I'm gonna start to throw a little bit more of the fog down here. So the fog is kind of reflecting the colors in the sun a little bit. So I'm just gonna start with these nice light colors here, letting the fog kind of fill in as if it were staying at the same elevation all the way in here. So it's not going to come up one mountain, you know, it's going to be like a flat spot where it just stops. Just like that. It's pretty good. All right, and then the farther out we get from the sun, the more light blue this fog looks. It's still way too light blue. Let's go a little more pink. And then we'll throw some highlights on this too. This is kind of like my shadow color for the foggy fog. Alright, and the fog is really warm. Let's go back here. Kind of just fades into the color of the sky. All right, nice. Just gonna take a little more fog color, put some more fog over here for now, just so I can blend that in a bit. And we've got our more fog here. All right, looking good. A little more blue. Yep. All right, now we can get back to the mountains. So our mountains are a little cooler on this side. So I'm gonna add a little more of my ultramarine blue. And we're just gonna start to poke them out here. I'm gonna check the chat again in a minute or two. I'm just gonna get a couple of these mountains kind of sketched in, and then I'll be right back to check the chat. All right, let's get a little more orange, red. Gonna do another mountain that kind of just fades off. There we go. Our sky is actually a little bit lighter over here, I'm noticing. I'm going to warm the sky up a little bit with some, yeah, that's pretty close, with some white and red and purple. See if I can blend that up into my purple still. Can always make more purple. Do like a hint more. That warmer color there. And that'll also help the mountains to stand out a little more. There's my dog, if you guys can hear that. All right, let me take some more white and blend that fog up a little bit, mistiness. Can use a little warmer color over here, closer to the sun. Okay, now we're gonna have more red right here. So I'm mixing red, yellow, and white, and this part of the mountain is just like totally illuminated by the sunlight here, sunset. And then it's going to fade into our purple color, so I'm going to mix some crimson with white, just a hair. And we're going to let that transition into the purple. Going to keep getting more blue the farther away we get from the sun here. Just going to take a little white and blend that up again. So it's a really repetitive process. You just sketch out a mountain, make sure it's getting cooler. The colors are getting cooler as you're moving farther away from the sun, and then you just add, once you get the ridge line in, you just kind of add some white and let that blend up. And then you go forward and do another mountain. All right, so I'm going to check on the chat real quick, and then we'll get back to painting. All right, let's see here. London Art Nanny, hello, good to see you. Hi. Ian, what's up, Ian? Nice, bye, Mary. All right, cool, back to painting. All right, so left off right there. I have another mountain right here. So I left some white space where my mountains are going to keep being placed. It's kind of like my placeholder for where things should go. All right, now we got one right here. It seems really dark, but it might be okay. Actually, I think it's still too dark. So I just add a little bit of white there to make that less dark. All right. And then we can cool it down as we're moving farther away. I just keep adding more ultramarine blue and like a hints of the purple color that I have. I might actually start adding some phthalo blue because I think we're getting closer to the green spectrum now. Yeah, that'll work. All right. The closer your mountains get to the foreground, they're obviously going to get bigger, but you're also going to start to see more detail in the mountains. So right now we're just kind of seeing that rocky ridge. We're not seeing individual trees yet, but then up here we're definitely going to be able to see individual trees. We can even start to see some trees on this one here. So that's the trees, or the mountains, get a little more detailed and start to take a little bit more time to paint as they get closer to you. All right, so now I'm going to add a little red here, a little bit of a mountain just peeking through right here. And then we're going to add a little more red and orange, or red, so I can make this bit right here nice and red, as if the sun is just warming it up. Okay. Just going to do a little more blending here for the fog, or the mistiness, I guess. I'm just kind of blend that in again, because here it stays a little darker. Mix in some red here. And then we need more purple. Right there. All right, I'm gonna take some blue and I'm gonna carry that color down. Just a hair here. All right, very good. All right, now I'm going to work on some details in the fog. So we have, or not, space here. We have some shadows in the fog that are like a mix of ultramarine blue and purple and phthalo blue. Maybe I'll try Deba pink too. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I should switch brushes, but for now I'm just gonna kind of quickly brush in where these are gonna be. So we just got like some rolling clouds in here that are really pretty. A little more phthalo. Whoop. And a little bit over here too. All right. Very good. Now I'm gonna go back and get all the paint off the brush, take some white, and we're gonna use like the warm orange color that was already there with some more white, and just kind of add some little highlights. Just very, very little lines with the brush. Just kind of showing where the sunlight's hitting the clouds. And these clouds are not just straight, they're a little puffy. Some spots here. Go back to purple here. I should be switching my brush here, but I'm being lazy, so you guys can, if you're not lazy like me, you can use your round-tipped brush here. That will give you a little bit of a softer texture for these clouds. I'm just trying to kind of work a little quickly. All right, nice. Can do a little highlight on there. Just some white, whoops. And here I'm just doing like a really quick little brush over that dark shadowy color that I put down, just to make it a little bit less dark and contrasty. And then we can go over it again with like our brush to make it look a little fluffier. And now it's starting to look a little bit more like we have some clouds in here. Whoops. Let that bleed into my black a little bit. And you want these to get smaller, these little lines for your shadows in the clouds to get smaller as you're moving farther away. And in general, they're not as dark the farther back they are, but as long as they're not too different in their shading, then it'll still look real. Just don't make these ones black and these ones light blue as your shadow. And then I'm going to move back to purple, just by mixing some pink and white with the colors I already had on the brush. And we're just going to add a couple more little shadows, but these ones are going to be warmer because they're in the shadows of the sun. Sunlit clouds. And then by just kind of taking a little diagonal brush stroke there, you're making them look more puffy and less straight. Which is kind of what we want. And we'll do a little one here. There, that's looking all right. All right, then we just need kind of like a highlight. I'm gonna go here real quick. All right, so I'm getting all the paint off my brush. And then for our highlight color, I'm gonna go back to white and like a hint of yellow. I think, yeah, I'm gonna switch to a round tip brush for this one. This is a really fine round tipped brush. I'm gonna get a hint of orange. So we have a really nice light color here and just give that like that little touch of warm, like the sun is still hitting the little peaks of these clouds here. It's definitely more on the orange spectrum over here. I'm just kind of doing like little squiggly lines with this. You want to make sure that these lines are getting smaller and closer together as they're getting farther away. All right, let's get more orange. Right back here. It's really orange back here. All right, and then we'll clean off the brush, and then let's make them more like just white over here. Whoops. Okay, and then we have some that are even like a little more pink. So I'm going to mix a little bit of red and a little bit of pink and some white. And that'll look nice right here. Kind of like the transition color before the cloud fades to blue. It hits like this nice pink purple. You don't have to put it everywhere, but just a couple little spots in here. It'll look pretty nice. Okay. Then I'm going to take a little bit of cadmium yellow. And I'm just going to brighten this up some more. So that one's really lit up for some reason. Cool. Okay, so now let's keep moving forward. We got, actually I'm gonna fix a couple more little things here. Let's fix this. We need a little bit more of a cloud in front here. Need a little more of a highlight here. All right. Oh, that was a big lump of white. Whoops. That's okay. Just let it blend a little bit down into the blue. Trying to make this cloud like more puffy. I know it's in the foreground more, so I want it to look a little bit more realistic than the other ones. All right, I think that will have to do for now. And we will touch it up later if we need to. All right, getting paint on my arm. All right, I'm gonna check the chat real quick and then we'll move on to these mountains here and then we'll work on the foreground. Okay, Nothing new, so we're back to work. All right, now I'm gonna work on this. So our mountains are now starting to get more green in them. Not quite yet, but they're moving closer to the green spectrum. So I'm gonna take some ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, and some crimson. Add a little bit of white. More crimson. A bit of purple there. Okay. And that is way too dark. So we're gonna add more purple and red. I'm just gonna make a new spot. That is better. And I'm just gonna kind of sketch these out first, and then I'm gonna start to add some trees because we have a tree line now. So this is the main ridge that it's easy to sketch, and then we have a couple little ones around it. So it gets more blue down here. Just kind of blend it on up. So my phthalo blue is really starting to show in here, and that's what's bringing us closer to the green color. All right, and we can add little ridges here. So I'm just taking my angled brush and just holding it up like this. Just giving me a couple little ridges for some trees, so we don't have like a perfectly straight boundary anymore. You can actually see a few of the trees. And then if that makes your mountain look kind of weird, you can just take your angled brush and let it brush that texture away and feed it right back down into your base color. All right, now I'm going to make this lighter. I'm just taking some white that got a little bit of pink in there, and I'm just blending that up nice and smooth. Okay, now we can take our warmer color that we made before and add a mountain here. Just a little ridge. That, and it's gonna have a little bit of trees showing, but just make it a little rougher. It doesn't have to be as detailed as the one in front of it. Then we just take a little bit of white and try to get this little bit here between the two ridges. There, I got that nice smooth transition. I can bring this ridge down over here. Playing around a little bit there. Okay, and we got a little warmer color here. So I'm just gonna feed that into this. It's from the sun. Blend it in. All right, now we can finish our ridge line here with the trees. A little bit more red up here, just to show where that sunlight is coming in. Okay, maybe a little more. Okay. Oops. All right, there's this one. Now we can do this ridge here, which again is going to have some phthalo blue, ultramarine blue. Now I'm going to mix some brown in. So that's where we're at now. Get into the brown green colors. Just going to take some purple here. A little bit of brown here. And a little bit of black maybe. Okay, and then again, that's going to have that blue base, that light blue. It's just going to go right up. Into there, and then I'm going to take a little more of the phthalo blue and ultramarine blue. Make this a little darker at the top. All right, I'm going to come back to this ridge. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit because the paint behind it was still wet, so I'm not getting as dark of a value as I would like. So we're going to let that dry for a little bit. Just going to get a nice blend here first so that the foggy part has a nice transition up. Alrighty. A little more right here. Good. And now I'm gonna take some sap green, brown, and mix it in with that blue color that I just had. I'm just gonna cover this whole bit here, and I'm just gonna like kind of go a little crazy with my ridge line. Not gonna make anything perfect. Just gonna throw that paint on. And it's gonna be a little more purple down here because this is farther away. A little mistier too. And I'm just going to cover this whole thing down here with this simple color. This is just like a nice base color for the detail I'm going to put in the foreground. So again, that's just green, phthalo blue, and my burnt umber, which is the brown. And just get that all basically covered with that color, just like a little more purple and brown in this part over here. And there are going to be some trees sticking up more here, but for now I just kind of made this weird jagged ridge line. And we can add more brown and phthalo blue for the very front where there's a lot more contrast. Let's even throw in some raw umber there. Alright, so now we got the full spectrum of colors in our painting. So that's very nice. But we're not done yet. If you want to call this done right now, then you could, because it has all the colors. The white is all off of the canvas, and I think you can tell what it is. You can tell that it's a sunset over the mountains. But if you are like me and you like to go super detailed with your pieces, then keep watching, because next we're going to add some clouds to the sky and then add details to the foreground here and fix this up a little bit too. I'm going to check the chat real quick and then we'll keep on working. So we're at about 1 hour right now. Let's see. Nice, okay, a couple people. Parentheses, hello, how are you? And Olia Art, hi, thank you, very beautiful painting, thank you very much. Okay, back at the painting, let me just make sure that's focusing on the painting, okay. Good, so like I mentioned, we're gonna work on the sky a little more, so I'm gonna use a round brush. No, I'm not. Just kidding. I'm going to use my medium-sized angled brush for this. I'm going to clean it off, make sure I don't have any excess paint on the brush, and I'm going to use red and purple. Yep. It's exactly the color that I want. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of white. Now it's exactly the color that I want. And I'm just gonna throw this here. Just kind of like, it's almost like dry brushing. Like there's barely any paint on this brush and I'm just letting what is on the brush just do its thing and layer up on the canvas a little bit. Get a little more paint. Now we're going to do one here. Just let it make its way off. Dip the paint in the water a little. That'll also give me like a nice thin down look. All right. Okay, now that I got that on there, I'm going to switch to my round tipped brush and I'm just going to take some orange and I'm going to dip that in the water so it's nice and thin down, and I'm just going to let that drag right under here where the sun is lighting up this cloud. Maybe a little bit inside the cloud too. Then I can take the paint off the brush and just go back over the spots I just did to like let it work its way out and get nice and soft. And if you think that was too bold of a color, all you need to do is add a little bit of white or even add like a little bit of yellow to your orange and just go over it to lighten it up and calm it down a little. All right, now I can use my red again with my brush, my round tipped brush, and we can just go over these spots again with this purple. And it starts to get more blue over there. I'm also going to add some raw umber. Just let it cool down over here. So this is a point where I like oil paint more than acrylic paint. Oil paint's a little easier to blend, in my humble opinion. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna make this, let's see, we have a little bit of like yellow mixed with the cooler yellow, or sorry, cadmium yellow light mixed with cadmium yellow medium. Right here, just like little pockets of things brightening up. Just gonna throw a couple of those in here. A little bit of that right here too. And right here. A little bit there. Oops. It's a little too bright. I'm just gonna blur that out a bit. Okay, and then we can take this color again, adding more of that light yellow. And I'm gonna put a nice big bright spot right here. I'm gonna add some white. Just blending it back and forth really quickly. So I'm doing kind of like a dry brush here where I don't have any water on the brush. I just have a little bit of paint. I'm just kind of really repetitively going back and forth over the same spot to try to get bits of pigment to kind of come out. Back right here with this one. All right, now we can throw in some more clouds. So we got a little bit of cloud here. A little bit of a cloud here too. Okay. Take our red with our purple, a little bit of orange. Ooh, this feels really dark. Just take the excess paint off your brush and kind of let it blend if you think that was a little much. So if you have a liner brush, which is like a really thin brush, you could use that here. That'll get you a nice, good line, really tiny detailed line. I'm not going to use that right now for time purposes. That's looking good. I think I want to warm this up a little bit more. I'm going to switch back to my angled brush and just take that cadmium yellow medium and layer it on. Actually, let's mix some white in with that. Yeah, it is way more white in the picture. I'll take a little bit of orange and I'll just make a nice little spot under this streak there. Okay, it looks better. Good. And then we can take some of our lighter color here. I just want to fix this cloud up a bit. Also gonna work on this a little more. I'm gonna take my yellow, brighten up this little bit of light coming out from the sun. A little bit here. Then I'm going to take my round tipped brush and I'm going to redo that little bit of yellow goes around the sun, just to make that a little more readable here. Okay.
Motion detected at the back door.
Okay. That'll work. All right, now let's get back to this section. Now I got black paint all over my hand. Don't think I can ever do a painting without getting paint all over me. All right, and we got our blues mixed with some purple for this tree line here. So I'm using my round tip brush this time, but I'm getting that same effect. I'm just kind of going at the tree line here and just doing a couple little up and down motions to make it look like I have some trees here. I'm just going to blend this down with a little more white added. There we go. Yeah, let's do a little more blue. A little more blue. And purple. Yeah. We'll just keep going darker. There we go. All right. Then you almost have like a couple little spots in here. Oh, don't use that one. Let's use this brush. Oh. A couple little spots in here where the trees are like kind of peeking out from the fog. So I'm just carrying my tree line down like as little diagonals. Like I said, as we move closer, we get more and more detailed. Oops. Oh, it's pretty white, but I think I'll let it stay. Now I'm really dry brushing. I put a little bit there, and then I'm just kind of letting the brush work it back up, blend it up. All right, cool. That one looks great. All right, now we're gonna try to quickly get this foreground done. So this is like an autumn scene and the sun is setting, so we don't have like a ton of vibrant bright colors, but we still have some reds and some like brown trees and then some faded gray trees in there too in the foreground there. So we got a little more time to go with the detail. And it looks like nothing new in the chat, so I'll continue working and we'll see if I can get this foreground done in the next half hour. And then we'll be all done with this piece. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting towards the end of this painting. All right, so for our tree line in the foreground here, I'm going to have some trees that are dead already because it's autumn in the scene. So I'm just going to take some black, brown, and that blue-purple color I already had. I'm just going to like really lightly like make a couple little branches. Again, if you have a liner brush, this is the time to use it. If you want to get super detailed, this will make it get super detailed for you. But basically, you're just going to have a couple trees like this. I get so in the zone that I forget to talk, sorry. Just like this, you have a couple The trees in the reference photograph are actually smaller than this and they're farther away, but this is, like I said, in a landscape, it's not a huge deal if something's a little off, as long as it still is, you know, readable and follows the general rules of a landscape, then you're good. And here I'm just mixing all kinds of colors. I'm using some sap green on this tree here. I added some red to my sap green. This is like a nice autumn tree here. And then I'm going to use purple mixed with black for this one. And then we have some blue, coal blue, gray trees. That's kind of what this one is. We have some darker ones behind it though. So for the sake of time, I'm not telling you guys how to paint each individual tree, but there are lots of videos on YouTube that can teach you how to paint trees, and that's not a bad idea for me to make a video about that at some point too. But basically I just kind of take the brush and hold it in different angles and let it start small at the top and get wider at the bottom, and then we get a tree. Mix some orange, that color there. It should be a little cooler. Purple. Using all kinds of colors. You don't have to stick to just green. If you stick to just green, it's going to be pretty boring looking forest. So you want to blend your colors together. Even maybe experiment with some color blending you haven't tried in the past and see how that works for you. Cool. All right. Do the green over here. All right, and then at the base of all these trees it'll get dark, and then we'll have another layer of trees that kind of goes in front of it. So here's where we'll have more blue, those light blue branches kind of sticking in here. Just dabbing the angled brush to give me an implied dead tree shapes. Just give me some branches. All right. That's good. We'll throw in some, let's get some cool blue there, and just throw a couple of these little trees in there. And get some yellow. We'll throw one of those trees over here. So all these colors are muted. They're not going to be super vibrant because the sun is setting and they aren't going to have all of their colors as bright as they would be if it were the middle of the day. All right, I'll get some shadows going in here. All right, down here is where we have a little bit less detail. Things are starting to look more purple. Just taking my angled brush and letting it go. Make some random little shapes and angles here, just kind of to imply that there are some trees over here. Because this is farther away. Get some purple out. Get a little more blue. The corner here. Make this blue-green. Looks pretty good. So a little more blue-green over here too. Okay, and then we can start to throw little bits of color in here, like red. And pink. Purple. Even this like weird light green color. Just play around with the color palette. Don't go too crazy trying to replicate this painting exactly where I put every tree or you will go crazy. It's a nature scene, so everything can be a little bit different. Just, you know, take your brush and just throw some trees down and have fun with it. Just make sure you enjoy what you're doing. And we got one of these trees here. Try to get like a nice little highlight and a shadow for all of your trees. Going to be a little bit more subtle because it's a sunset. It's not going to be as bold. Contrast between light and dark. One more yellow here. Yep, so this last step is just really repetitive. Just kind of keep adding more and more trees and till you finish the painting. It's a little bit too bright there. gonna cool that down a little bit. And then a good base color for, or a good shadow color for trees is generally green, blue, and brown mixed together. Generally. Could be a different color depending on, you know, what color your leaves are, but for green trees, usually green, brown, and blue together make a nice shadow. We're getting there, guys. I think I might even throw a little mist down here. Just gonna kind of blend that in a bit. And then we can add some more trees in there so that like only the tops are kind of showing. And that should work pretty nicely. Just do like little hints of red. Back here. Just like imply little bits of shadow. Right. Get a little bit of brown in here too. Some more green. That was really bright. All right, I got a nice little bit of a highlight here. Right, and let's see. Just mixing, I'm making like a purple with my red and blue to give a shadow for this red tree here. It's gonna kind of fade into this weird green. And then there's like a really dark shadow in here. Almost done. A bit of green down here. Brighten my red up a little here. And we have a little more of that brown right over here. What else do we want to do? I'll do just like a little bit more down there. And throw some brown under here. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I might just add, let's fix this tree. I was thinking of adding a little more right here. So this bump doesn't look so weird. Then finally, I just have to make sure I add that bit of orange onto here. The sun's hitting it. All right, I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. Cool. All right, there we are. And then look, there's a good spot to sign your name down here. When you want to sign your name. Does anything else need to happen here? Uh-oh, I hope this didn't freeze. Oh, hi, Rounded Rub. Hi. All right, but there is the completed painting. We have our sunset with our trees. It looks very peaceful. If you guys remake this painting, just let me see it, please. If you want, I'm on Instagram. You can follow me at _painting_Stoof. So just like if you post it, just tag my page so I can see your recreation of this piece. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm back again. Hi. Have a great night, and let me know in the comments section if you have any requests for painting tutorials you want me to show you. Okay, bye-bye.